It's a best of 3, guys. And we're starting off our introductions in the top right hand corner, where the blue Protoss is currently spawning, playing for Team Axon. It is GERALD. And in the opposite corner instead, in the red, it's the Zerg, the living legend from Team Ants. It is SERRAL. Oh, with an early pull actually. It's pretty interesting. I'm not too sure about this. I don't feel like Jagannath is the kind of map on which you have to fear too much about the Protoss player going for something very aggro. But apparently SERRAL doesn't want to give GERALD any chances to go for anything aggressive. It doesn't really look like it's an aggressive early pull. It mostly looks defensive. Jagannath is a long map. It takes a long time to go the full rush distance. And I seriously doubt that just a couple of Zerglings can put GERALD in trouble in the early game. Of course, it's still gonna be very useful scouting tool nonetheless. Just an overall added safety that certainly would have helped SERRAL if GERALD decided to go for something more aggressive, but it is as better against it. Just a cyber before Nexus after checking the timing on these natural archery. And of course, forcing a Zealot out is not the worst possible thing that can happen to a Protoss, but still. Here comes the Lynx, looking to find something, but of course the Zealot is out, the wall is up. And indeed, all they can do really is, at this stage, just scouting. Maybe getting the probe? No, not even that. Game has perfectly stabilized after the early pull. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener from GERALD. I'm actually fairly surprised for this. My bet would have easily went into a Stargate opener. But indeed, a Twilight Council, a little bit more aggressive opener for the Protoss. Maybe to put some pressure with the depths. Even though there's no Robo going up yet. So no Warp Prism. Again, rush distance is very long. So it might very well be for Blink, but I kind of doubt that. Or maybe even an early charge. Yeah, it's Glaze. It's always Glaze. Come on, guys. And to be honest, I feel like it's slightly too delayed. This is not going to hit at the timing in which it can do serious damage. The Robo is kind of late. That being recalled after getting some scouting information. The Roach Warren already going up. It's a Dark Shrine for some Arcane Drop shenanigans after that. And of course going to 4 gateways. Pretty much mandatory. In the end, I still don't feel like it's going to do much. SERRAL is just an incredible defensive player. He's going to have full scouting of this as well, with Overload spread throughout the map as well as Zerglings. There's a Warp Prism incoming, Dark Shrine is going up. And the Billin's positioning is great, but GERALD is not going to take a third. Yeah, he is. It's going to be tricky to take control of that third if SERRAL decides to counter-strike once GERALD hits with his Arcans and Dark Templars. There's no detection though. That is actually pretty significant. Spore Crawler is going up just now. Doubting SERRAL. Yeah, that's never a good choice as a caster. Yeah, 12 Lings going up, maybe to try and get a counter to stop the Third Nexus from going up. Meanwhile, Geralt getting ready to warp in a couple Dark Templars. You will probably not gonna do much with those and just morph them into Archons almost instantly. I don't see many other choices. Charges going up. Overall, Geralt is not required to deal a lot of damage. Serral doesn't have a lot of workers with his early pool. But in the end, there's still going to be a lot of detection with these Spore Crawlers around where it's needed. And Serral has a lot of lanes to counterattack when he wants to. Indeed, the Warp Prism survives, ready to morph some Archons, but the Larry is already going up, and Serral is preparing his transition. Meanwhile, a full counter-strike. His counter-attack can deal some serious damage. Of course, the Dark Templar for defense is a great choice, but this NeXT gotta be cancelled. And that's a huge loss on Geralt's side. It was just started. It was still fairly late. But yeah, I really doubt that Geralt is going to like that. Having to pull his Warp Prism back is another terrible thing for Geralt, who's not gonna have a lot of scouting tools for a lot of time. And that's a lot of gas expended into these Dark Templars. He's going to have 4 Archons, which is honestly never a bad thing. But Serral is preparing his follow-up. He's making a lot of roaches. He's making his overseers. He still has a lot of lings alive, looking for a counterattack, forcing Geralt back. And overall, it looks like he's taking full control of his own side of the map. Mostly thanks to these Zerglings. Oh, that Archon is very exposed. Because there's a 1 Dark Templar and a Warp Prism to keep good track of it. It's going to be another Dark Templar. It's going to be 6 Archons. That's a lot of Archons in the early game. Of course, Archons are fairly vulnerable to corrosive vials. Just because they're huge, they have short range. They need to move a lot to dodge those biles, and it never really works in their favor considering the DPS. Oh my goodness, talking about DPS, lanes are in the mineral line and these bad boys sure do deal a lot of damage. Charge lots being actually recalled. The main army consisting of a lot of Archons can still not break through 5 Ravagers enough to bile them from a distance. Moving out of creep is a little bit of a bold choice from Serral, but he has faith in his counterattack and he has all the rights to do so. These Zerglings cancel the Nexus and kill 16 workers. I'm not too sure about this engagement. Ravager biles rain from the sky, hitting one of the Archons, dealing a lot of damage. There's 12 more roaches incoming as well as a Spire. Geralt doesn't really have an income that helps him in this situation. He cannot really make a lot of Immortals or more Archons. He lost a couple, and he's going to lose more if Serral decides to keep up the aggression. I don't think this can end the game. He's coming very close to doing just that. Serral once again locking Geralt on his own side of the map, but he's gonna be chased down by these Dark Templars. It's not looking pretty for these roaches and Ravagers. Of course, even Burrow being added to the mix. Just because he can, of course. Alongside a Spire, it's going to be a very difficult army to take a hold of, especially once those Mutas start to connect easily with the Warp Prism, forcing Geralt at a micro disadvantage, which is never something you want. Robobay definitely going to help with that. Either Colossi or Disrupt Attack can be very useful, but Serral has Geralt's number. He has the Spire up just exactly when he needed. And he's going to be on a serious economical advantage. And he's been on one for a fairly long time. His army is not extremely gas heavy, only the Mutas are gas heavy really. He's going to have a very big upgrade advantage in a short while. And now that these mutas are up, you can easily delay the attention. There's a Dark Temper causing a little bit of a ruckus over here. Getting 8 drones. I don't know what the other was. It's still going to be a fairly decent amount of damage. Probably was over here. But in the meanwhile, mutas hitting in the main base of GERALD, being chased down by Stalkers. But these Stalkers are not going to do much against the Roach Ravager army that SERRAL has slowly built up. And that is moving through the middle of the map. Here they are, hitting at the wall. This is a lot of Protoss hitting from multiple sides, but these huge death ball of Roach and Ravagers is still a fairly decently sized army with an upgrade advantage. It is surely going to be significant in a little while. Archons still a little bit too scary for these Roaches to commit. Just looking for the right bias, and now they do commit. SERRAL setting up a weird fight, to say the least. Most of his Roaches going into the main to help these mutas get the better of the defenses over here. I don't see a lot of probes dying. I don't see Burrow being used. And oh yeah, here it is. Those Roaches are going to recover a lot of health right here. And I don't see an observer being moved by GERALD. He doesn't have an observer actually. That's pretty bad. Roaches recovering a lot of health, but of course there are 2 shield batteries over here. Oh, the mutas eating at a different point. Of course, Stalkers will help in the defense. And a couple probes are still going to fall. These mutas may have tried it a little bit too far. But now here comes the Roaches and Ravagers, ready to strike. More mutas incoming, more upgrades incoming for SERRAL, who wants to transition out of Roach Ravagers, but is in time. Disruptors already out, ready to cause a destruction in the army of SERRAL. Oh, but the soup don't lie, as someone will say. That's a lot of overloads. Oh no. Go back home, guys. Yeah, that's not where you want to be. Yeah, oh no. It's terrible. Alright, they're safe, guys. Don't worry. Meanwhile, Roach is in the main, still trying to deal a lot of damage, but yeah, the Dark Tempers, like, they're killing a lot of probes. But right now, the real thing that is completely blundering GERALD's game plan is that there is absolutely no way he can afford any tech up. He's getting a second robo, but I don't know if he can afford it. I don't know if he can keep up with what SERRAL is building up. SERRAL is even fighting Stalkers with mutas, because it doesn't care. 11 more mutas incoming, plus 2 air upgrade incoming. He has a 5th base up and running. It is going to be saturated very, very easily. And these mutas are just going everywhere they please. Fighting Archons, that's really not an issue for SERRAL, apparently. Here's more Prism with speed, still trying to chase down these mutas. Of course, the main army of SERRAL, the ground army of SERRAL, is nothing really too strong, but GERALD is in a very difficult spot right now. Oh, Archons being found in the open. One of them immediately dies. These are just too many mutas. That is a very deadly spot. I don't know if recall is available, but if it is, you gotta use it now. GERALD warping in more units back home while the Roaches are trapping the rest of the Stalkers. Mutas destroying the main base army, ready to collapse on the rest. Meanwhile, SERRAL being chased down by the rest of the army. Disruption Nova is going to connect. It's a lot of damage, but it's definitely not enough. SERRAL takes game 1 of the series. Now this round of 8, here in the top right hand corner, and it's 2 in a row. Can he do it against the former world champion? Let's see, it is the Blue Protoss GERALD. From Team Axon, of course. And from Team Ants instead, in the bottom left hand corner, in the red, destroying his opponent with map control in the first game of this series. Can he do it twice in a row? It is SERRAL. There's no early pull this time from SERRAL. Which is actually even more surprising about what happened in game number 1. Since I thought this was just a way in which SERRAL wanted to acknowledge GERALD's potential aggressive playstyle and just counter him that way every game, while here on Oxide, that is considerably shorter in rush distance, is not going to go for an early pull. He decides to go for the Hutch first. He's not scared of GERALD, he has the game advantage, he goes for the macro build. Well, the early pull in the game before was also a macro build, it was just a defensive one. A turtley one, at that. With a lot of map control into it, yes, but still a defensive pull, nonetheless. Was nothing defensive in the last 5 minutes of the previous game. SERRAL becomes just an absolute madman when it comes to the later game stages, and he has full control of his own side of the map. Just becomes absolutely unstoppable, and GERALD needs to do something important about that. Otherwise, it will just be caught in an avalanche. And I already like this better. No Twilight Council this time. That Resonating Glaive didn't do anything. And in this game instead, it's going to be a Stargate opener. Which can prompt me to believe that GERALD wants to get an earlier third Nexus and maybe get a timing attack going, or maybe just for Oracles and he instead wants to lay down some fire in these mineral lines. It's going to be an Oracle first. Map control, still the most important thing in these early stages of this matchup. And there's nothing really to scare GERALD after his early scout with the Adepts. He's going to look for another scout. Checking lair timing, maybe getting a couple drones as well, because why not? Getting straight into the main, of course, a couple links are going to fall. Oh, they complete the shade, that's a bold shade. Drones blocking the way with an Evo Chamber, very nice move from SERRAL. Still, a drone is going to fall, maybe a couple. Adepts moving into the natural. You get another couple kills, another drone falls. It's going to be to the count of 4 before the first Adept is actually going to fall. It's going to be recalled as well. GERALD really likes to recall these Adepts. It's his second game in a row he does that. First game didn't deal damage at all. But even if it's just 4 drones, it adds up. And you know what adds up? An Oracle hitting for even more. This Oracle is flying in a very dangerous position. I can't believe it can't be it over here. But the worst thing that happened to SERRAL, really, look at the gas. This is going to be a 4-minute 20 speed. If he even wants to get speed at this stage. It's so absurdly late. Oh, he already has speed. Oh my god. Yeah, disregard everything I just said. I thought he was rushing a Roach Warren. Never mind. Yeah, okay, I'm done. But even then, that's a lot of lost mining time on the gas. The lair can still go up at a fairly decent timing, but it's not going to have a lot of roaches in the early game. Of course, the Nodal Overload is going to get full scouting over here. Still, his oracles are just going everywhere they can and really doing a lot of damage. His Stasis Ward is not gonna do much. It's just one drone, as you can see. But in the end, a very frantic game on GERALD's side, really trying to slow down SERRAL, and honestly, doing a fairly decent job at it. Oh, Pulsar Beam activation needs to be forced by these lanes. A lot of energy used by these Oracle, even a Revelation being dropped. Oh, actually whiffing the Revelation. And the Queens are starting to make their march. A lot of units being made by SERRAL. He doesn't really feel confident about getting into mid-game, it looks, after losing a lot of mining time, a lot of gas time, mostly. There's a lot of gas still, mainly used into Ravagers, but these are late Ravagers. This army of SERRAL is not going to be deadly. It's going to stop these depths, that's for sure. And now the Queens already made their way through the middle of the map, already getting to the third. But a very good scouting on GERALD's side is going to stop this attack completely. So many cannons and shield batteries going up at this third base, and I don't see much in the army of SERRAL that can really threaten this base. Beautiful force field is going to lock this Ravager out, which even gets piled by his own people. And now the cannons are up, as well as the shield battery. Shield battery overcharged, not used yet, it doesn't need yet. Beautiful force field locking so many units out of this battle. Queens, Ravagers, Roaches, and everything alike is falling very quickly. And I feel like SERRAL is decisively losing this fight. Queens are out of energy, no more transfuses available. The Ravagers are trying to pile down the retreat for the army of SERRAL, but GERALD, with a perfect defense, is going to take minimum losses and in the end force a lot of kills into the army of SERRAL, especially losing a lot of Queens, which is never a good thing. So many inject cycle missed by SERRAL are going to slow down him into the mid-game to an absurd level. GERALD safely in the lead of the second game. SERRAL playing a little bit too aggressive against a very aggressive playstyle, which was a lot of depth. And of course, a Stargate. There's still no Forge or Evo Chamber upgrade, they're just going up right now. But the Robo is also on the way, and GERALD easily looking to take control of the middle of the map. Not a lot of links to actually threaten his mineral lines, and a lot of adepts to actually shock down creep tumors. And maybe a couple drones if he gets to that. Why not? Billionaires going up as well as Blink. All the upgrades needed to safely get into the mid game are being taken by both players. SERRAL is just a little bit too slow. His fourth base is going to be incredibly late. He's just on par with one of the Protoss, which is never where you want to be as the Xur player. And now losing any Phoenixes, getting even some more scouting information. GERALD easily in control of his third base, nothing that can really hurt that. And now look at this adept movement, checking where the links are. Oh my god, shading into these links, that was a terrible choice. Yeah, okay, GERALD losing a little bit of map control. The Void Ray is still going to help with that, taking control of his own side of the map. But the middle line is just SERRAL to take, especially with a Spire going up and with this much creep. Stalkers really looking left and right for the Muta transition. And his Overseer is going to get pretty much full scouting of what is about. Oh, yeah, that is bad. This side of the base of GERALD is not going to be scouted. The Void Ray is going to hunt down the Overseer before he can get over there. Double Disruptor. Yeah, that's not going to do much against Mutas. Mutas are going to be fairly late though. Actually, significantly late. The Ravagers are still a force to be reckoned with. But in the end, I seriously doubt that SERRAL has the firepower to break through Gerald's defenses. Planestalkers can easily dodge those biles, while these Raptors can easily hunt down Ravagers and force them to kite backwards. Bailing speed is down and infestation speed is going up. SERRAL is getting to the late game. Gerald was able to fend off an early aggression, but wasn't really able to do much aside of that. Both players just get into the late game. It's not really looking like any of the two is setting up anything crazy. Gerald right now is moving out in a very awkward position as well. Like, you can blink on top of the hill, I guess. Oh, yeah, that is not good, SERRAL. He just instantly detonates all of his banelings for apparently no reason. And now these biles are going to deal a whole lot of less damage. Disruption Nova going left and right, forcing these Ravagers to move out of their hitbox. And now Storm and Templar Archive is going up. Not a lot of supply available for SERRAL. He needs to trade a little bit to get some mutas. Oh, but Gerald blinking a little bit too crazily in. Beautiful surround going up from SERRAL. Oh, the banelings being walled by every single sliver of energy available from these sanctuaries. And now 2 more force fields. And the army of SERRAL can no longer hurt you, Gerald. Beautiful, beautiful micro from the Protoss. But it's going to be very difficult to take a hold of this base. Oh, another perfect Purification Nova is going to get a lot of banelings before they can get into melee with these Stalkers. Base going up here on the left for SERRAL. Meanwhile, Gerald is still looking for some damage. Actually, Gerald, with a higher supply than his opponent, really looking to hurt SERRAL in the place he needs the most. His 4th base is really under threat, and now this base is going to be cancelled probably. Oh, beautiful splits for these Zealots, dodging these banelings as fast as they can. Of course, they're still going to take a lot of damage. They still cannot do much, but they're going to force a lot of units lost from SERRAL. Beautiful micro though from SERRAL. Oh, the lanes are trapped in a little bit of an awkward spot right now. Meanwhile, Gerald right to hit on the right again. Purification Nova whiffing. Oh, 2 more available. Immediately going out, but that is just 1 more. It's not going to hit anything in the second recharges, but now these Raptors are going to fall to the banelings. That's terrible news for Gerald, losing some of his most important units. +3 is going up for Gerald, as well as +2 from SERRAL for his melee. But he's been losing all of his key units, even the High Templars. After a couple well-placed storms are going to fall. Great Aspire incoming from SERRAL, who desperately wants to get to that stage of the game. The Broodlords are ready to pump out. And SERRAL not really able to spread a lot of creep, which makes this Great Aspire even better. Lots of scouting information being collected by SERRAL, seeing the fleet beacon and the double Stargate. Oh, this Disruptor is in a little bit of an awkward spot. He's going to be saved by a full warping of Zealots. Both players close to be maxed out. They cannot really take advantage of their uber late game. Oh, Mothership Core actually. Well, not Core, Mothership, sorry. Oh, Storm going left and right, trying to stop this army. Oh my god, Gerald stormed a couple of his own units though. Those were not great storms. They stopped SERRAL from getting too close, but they were hitting more of the Gerald's unit than they were hitting SERRAL's. Of course, Gerald wants to trade aggressively right now. He has the free Stargate, he has the triple carry production. He's getting those upgrades. There's an Ultra Cavern going up for SERRAL as well, who still wants to trade himself. 98 workers might be a little bit too much. SERRAL needs to find a way to trade his supply without actually killing himself by doing that. Oh, Purification Nova. Yeah, that was perfect. Banelings really scared away. Oh, these Banelings are trying to get on top of these Disruptors, and they managed to do so. High Templars forced to merge into Archons, and now more Banelings are running through. Perfect fight from SERRAL, but the first carrier is out, and the 3 more that are incoming are about to be out as well. There's an Overseer taking good side of that. He's going to die for his sins, and meanwhile SERRAL decides to go for the probes, and they're going to be annihilated by these Banelings. 10 probes falling. Doesn't really hurt that much this late in the game. It's just more supply for the Skytos army. But even SERRAL needed to free up some supply to get his Corruptors up and running. He has sick upgrades with +3/+3 going up shortly, as well as +2 ranged attack. He still wants to rely on these Ravagers, but of course the Corruptors, and once it comes to that, the Broodlords are still going to be the most important part of that. There's still Storm available. Broodlords are going to have a difficult time getting stuff done, as well as Corruptors. Like, it's not a real counter, it just slows them down. A lot of queens for defense here in top left. SERRAL is kind of stabilized right now. Like, I don't see many ways GERALD can get really his foot on the throttle and get something aggressive done. But I don't see that either from SERRAL, really. More Banelings trading with Zealots. It's a messy game. But we're getting to Uber late game. Nonetheless, both players building up a significant bank with a mothership. You can see this unit from being actually hunted down by the Corruptors and the Banelings. Here on the left, lots of Zealots were able to get a kill on this archery, and it looks like the carriers are going to take a kill on this archery as well. SERRAL put back in his game plan by quite a lot. He still has a lot of bank, and he's looking for a counter. He's not going to allow these Nexus from being an asset in favor of GERALD. GERALD is going to hunt down so many drones, 21 drones falling. I guess it's free supply for SERRAL though. He's adding 10 more Corruptors, an Ultra as well as 2 Vipers. Now Link's trying to get something done on the right, some damage is going to be dealt by those pesky Links. It's just 5 probes, and GERALD still sits at a comfortable 65 number, which prompts him to just make more carriers. Oh, Dark Shrine finally going up to put SERRAL into an even more dangerous spot when it comes to defending his bases. GERALD is hungry for more. More drones are hunted down. Oh my god, these drones are falling one after the other. Immediately the Baneling Nest is going to fall as well. These poor crawlers are a little bit too exposed. Of course there are a lot of Corruptors. There are Vipers out with quite a fair amount of energy. But this army of GERALD is kind of relentless. Oh, SERRAL. Beautiful, beautiful man, hitting over here on the top right with the remaining ground forces he has, waiting for these Ultras to find the right time to strike. He's setting up what is really looking like it's going to be some kind of base trade. SERRAL not looking good. He's going to deal some damage over here in the top right. Yes, but GERALD is nullifying all of his tech, all of his economy, and GERALD definitely in a very winning spot. I won't say this is a GG timing because the army of SERRAL is still very strong and is still making a lair and a spawning pool over here. But now it's Void Ray time after losing all of these probes and annexes as well. GERALD still sits at a 3k and 2k bank, 47 workers, an incredibly strong Skytos army. But SERRAL, every single unit was irreplaceable for quite a lot of time, and that will slowing down. The Spire is not going up before the 22-minute mark. which is going to mean that everything SERRAL has right now is what he's going to be working with in the next few skirmishes. GERALD looking for bases, looking to find damage left and right, sending some Dark Templars even as an overseer for defense. Oh, the lair is in a really bad spot. Transfuse is going off, saving the most important structure that SERRAL has. But GERALD doesn't really care about structures. He cares about destroying every single one of these corruptors until his carriers can no longer be countered and the spire is not going up for quite a lot of time. SERRAL completely blind right now. You can see it doesn't have a lot of vision on the map. GERALD retaking all that was lost in the counter attack, and his base, oh my goodness, easy bruise. GERALD not really finding what he wants to find, and here it comes. Minus 400 for you guys. It's a mothership down. SERRAL trying to spread changelings left and right, but they're always found by GERALD. And now, honestly, 6 infestors is exactly what SERRAL needs alongside Neuroparasite. If you can't beat them, I guess you just join them, right? Take those carriers, take those Archons, and just use them against GERALD's own will. Vipers looking to abduct a carrier or two. Meanwhile, the Bullets getting in a little bit of a dangerous spot. Not a lot of storms available. Beautiful abduct, getting one of the carrier before he can even retaliate. And now GERALD forced into Tempest. Yeah, that's not the base you want to consume. Yeah, that's better. That's better, SERRAL. You don't want to consume that lair. Well, soon to be Hive. And what do you want to do with this Hive? More Vipers? Another Great Spire? In the end, both players are not really on a confident gas income, I'd say. GERALD looking to take this base in the bottom right. There's still a lot of gas into these two Vespene Geysers. Oh, but these links with Adrenal Glands do deal a lot of damage. Corruptors fighting Void Rays. The number is high enough for these Corruptors to win the battle. GERALD is freeing up more supply for his Tempest. Right now, both players kind of depleting the entirety of their bank. Greater Spire going up. Oh, this is a messy game. Oh, combat drone activated. GERALD forced to cancel a lot of his structures. These are slower paints and they're going to be absolutely destroyed by Adrenal Glands late. In the end, GERALD forced to move his whole army over here. Oh, what is this drone doing? Yeah, dying. SERRAL retaking the base in the bottom right. There are honestly just 2 points of contention. This base over here and this base over here. So I guess it all comes down to abducts. Oh my goodness, beautiful abduct on that carrier. I don't know about that Archon though. It almost killed one of the Vipers. That was a very bad abduct. The last 3 air weapons for SERRAL to destroy those carriers before they can even get a chance to fight back at the Corruptors. The main problems are going to be the Tempest. But SERRAL still looking for counterattacks, still finding damage, killing probes, still finding Dark Templars left and right. Of course, this base was cancelled in the end. But more units are incoming over here. Of course, it's going to mean that SERRAL is going to get this mothership and put it down once more. Brewlords still proving to be a very deadly counter to the Grand Army of GERALD, while the Vipers are abducting everything they can. Very patient game from SERRAL right here. Let's not forget that GERALD reset all of the tech of the Zerg player. This was a beautiful comeback story for STERRAL this far. He's still not in a great spot. He's still failing to take control of very important pieces of economy, while Gerald is mining from what is arguably the most important base on the map right now. Serral wants to do something about it. Sending 2 Broodlords? Yeah, that's not going to do much with 5 shield batteries being up over there. The rest of the Broodlords may do the trick. But you really need to have some perfected ducks. And honestly, to have these infestors burrowed. I don't like them being unburrowed. But Isaracle is getting a very good revelation on the infestors. They can no longer burrow now. It would be very stupid. But SERRAL is taking another base. It might not be the richest in minerals, but it's fairly rich in Vespene. Getting at least a couple more Broodlords or a couple more Vipers from a single Vespene Geyser at this stage. It's very important. Taking this base though is even more important. That's much more than a couple Vipers in those Vespene Geysers in the bottom right. As well in the top left, to be honest, GERALD collecting 1,000 gas at a minute, which is honestly pretty good for him. Oh, SERRAL though, his late game is just incredibly clean. His Infestor Broodlord's army is just his trademark, and he's retaking the bases that he needs to take back. Oh, Ultras, you don't want to be there against Void Race. I'm not super sure about these Ultra Covenant going up once more. I do feel like there are better units to replace these Ultras, just like Banelines mostly. Even though Storms will be just absolutely detrimental, but so are Immortals. Actually, there's just one Immortal alive right now. Yeah, that is. Actually 2, but that is actually pretty significant, especially against these Tempest. Ultras are not going to have a great time. But in the end, SERRAL relies mostly on his Abducts. And now Lings are indeed dealing damage over here. Revelation needs to be used to kill the last Ling remaining on the top left. Otherwise that would have been a disaster for Gerald's probes. Oh, but SERRAL back into business, it seems. These 2 Vespene Geysers are so important. Meanwhile, Gerald still has a lot of gas over here. It doesn't really look like this game is going to end anytime soon. Both players are really struggling to find a good engagement. They're just trying to slow down their opponent's income as much as possible. Another couple of ducks are going to get some damage done into Gerald's army. Meanwhile, Revelation going to force some of SERRAL's army backwards. Another Revelation going to actually gain vision of the movements of the Broodlords, which are the most important units to track, honestly. Oh my god, beautiful Abducts! And beautiful fungal growths. These Void Rays are a thing of the past, and they certainly are not cheap units. Ultras, meanwhile, destroying the wall that Gerald has built to his last standing important base. There's not a lot of gas over here, as you can see. But Gerald finding again damage with 2 Dark Templars over here in the bottom right. Sorry for missing that, but this is such a difficult game to take track of everything, my guys. It's very complicated at this stage of the game to keep track of everything happening. Bottom left, bottom right, top left. It's all that is about in this game. And still, SERRAL and Gerald managing to find blind spots in each other's defenses. What a top class game this far. Gerald just a little bit short from ending the game twice this far. And SERRAL being very resilient, getting again into business is just an incredible feat of this player. Changelings spread pretty much everywhere. And yeah, with Ultras being out, oh my god, beautiful fungal. These Ultras are just going to melt through these Stalkers. Oh my goodness. Gerald just completely disregarded those. Oh, the main army is clashing. A beautiful fungals again. Oh my goodness, SERRAL, how do you do that? Oh, fungal plus parasitic cloud dealing an immense amount of damage into the army of GERALD. SERRAL heavily winning this battle, and it might be a little bit too much for GERALD. He's not going to replace his units very quickly. He's not going to keep control of this Nexus for a lot longer if these hordes of Broodlings keep on coming. And now with Queens able to transfuse back to full energy, with 3 Infestors still in a very healthy position energy-wise, and these Vipers absolutely annihilating the army of GERALD. He's looking to be deadly up. Ducks are going up, but these Vipers, yeah, that was terrible, SERRAL. That was absolutely terrible. You were in a perfect spot. You get your Vipers up, feedback. You get your Vipers killed. And you just have 1 Viper alive. And it doesn't even have energy. Luckily for him, his previous battle was a trip for sore eyes. And GERALD doesn't have what it takes to push even forward. And that was a brave choice, trying to abduct everything with those Vipers. Just didn't pay off a lot, it seems. But GERALD still looking to find creep, to find damage. He's not scared of these Vipers. He knows SERRAL is fallible, and is now replacing his lost carriers. This is an incredibly scary army. Finally, he's not making a mothership anymore. The mothership might possibly be the worst unit in the game once Vipers are out. And SERRAL again manages to stop GERALD from taking this base and tries to take it for his own. Oh, there are 2 Immortals though. Oh yeah, these drones are in a very awkward spot right now. Especially with that plus with Shadow Scribe ready to hack down the retreating drones. SERRAL trying to hit in the top left. That's not a great storm. Vipers cannot really get too far though. Feedback is still a very potent threat. It seems like once again the game is kind of stabilizing. SERRAL mining out this base at last. Really not finding a way to take control of this one. No more gas on this base as well. And no more gas on these. Well, it has been a lot of time since there was gas in that base. It looks like a... Oh my god, that feedback. Just instantly killed 1 Viper. More Akons being produced. That's a lot of bullets though. I don't feel like that's the call. SERRAL committing everything he has. Fungal, parasitic bomb going on top of the Skytos army. And I don't see many Vipers being up, but I don't see many defenses in this Skytos army. Corruptors shredding through. Meanwhile, Ravagers and Ultras over here in the top left, destroying the last useful base of GERALD. The Corruptors may not be high in number, but they are still much more than enough to clear what is remaining of the army of GERALD. And now between SERRAL and the semi-finals, only 2 Archons, 2 Immortals, 6 Zealots, and 9 Stalkers stand. Taking the base in the bottom right, bold choice from GERALD, trying to get a little bit of gas income, just what it takes to pump out a couple more ground units. Maybe Stalkers, I don't know. GERALD is in a desperate situation. Both players completely mined out, but one army is just simply that much stronger than the other. There's still 1 Infestor alive, and now SERRAL bringing the drones to the battle. Combat drones activated, Broodlords in a perfect spot to hunt down those Stalkers, to hunt down the retreating army of GERALD. The Corruptors cannot do much anymore, but there is just no counter to these Broodlords. Perfectly positioned, a plane forward will be the death of the Stalkers, as you can see. And now a Fungal goes up, and SERRAL is going to the semi-finals, 2-0 victory after a pretty damn long game.